The eclipse. Next is the signature black, to show the poles of my versatility, if you like. It was the darkest moment before the dawn. This time, I had come for a man of perhaps 24 years of age. It was a beautiful thing in some ways. The plane was still coughing, the smoke was still leaking from both of its lungs. When it crashed, 3 deep gashes were made into the earth. Its wings were now sawn off arms. No more flapping, no more metallic little bird. Some other small facts. Sometimes I arrive too early. I rush, and some people cling longer to life than expected. After a small collection of minutes, the smoke exhausted itself. There was nothing left to give. A boy arrived first with a cluttered breath and what appeared to be a toolbox. With great trepidation, he approached the cockpit and watched the pilot, gauging if he was alive, at which point he still was. The book thief arrived perhaps 30 seconds later. Years had passed, but I recognized her. She was panting. From the toolbox, the boy took out, of all things, a teddy bear. He reached in through the torn windshield and placed it on the pilot's chest. The smiling bear sat huddled among the crowded wreckage of the man and the blood. A few minutes later, I took my chance. The time was right. I walked in, loosened the soul, and carried it away gently. All that was left was the body, the dwindling smell of smoke, and the smiling teddy bear. As the crowd arrived in full, things of course had changed. The horizon was beginning to charcoal. What was left of the blackness above was nothing but a scribble, and disappearing fast. The man, in comparison, was the color of bone, skeleton colored skin, a ruffled uniform. His eyes were cold and brown, like coffee stains, and the last scrawl from above formed what, to me, had appeared to be an odd, yet familiar shape, a signature. The crowd did what crowds do. As I made my way through, each person stayed and played with the quietness of it. It was a small concoction of disjointed hand movements, muffled sentences, and mute, self-conscious turns. When I finally glanced back at the plane, the pilot's open mouth had appeared to be smiling. A final dirty joke. Another human punchline. He remained shrouded in his uniform as the graying light arm wrestled in the sky. As with many others, when I began my journey away, there seemed to be a quick shadow again, a final moment of eclipse, the recognition of another soul gone. You see, to me, for just a moment, despite all the colors that touch and grapple with what I see in this world, I will often catch an eclipse of when a human dies. I've seen millions of them. I've seen more eclipses than I care to remember. The flag. The last time I saw her was red. The sky was like soup, boiling and stirring. In some places it was burned. There were black crumbs and pepper streaked across the redness. Earlier, kids had been playing hopscotch there, on the street that looked like oil-stained pages. When I arrived, I could still hear the echoes, the feet tapping the road, the children's voices laughing, and the smiles like salt but decaying fast. Then bombs. This time everything was too late. The sirens, the cuckoo shrieks of the radio, all too late. Within minutes, mounds of concrete and earth were stacked and piled. The streets were ruptured veins. Blood was steamed until it dried on the road, and the bodies were stuck there, like driftwood after the flood. They were glued down, every last one of them, a packet of souls. Was it fate? Misfortune? Is that what glued them down like that? Of course not. Let's not be stupid. It probably had more to do with the hurled bombs thrown down by humans hiding in the clouds. Yes, the sky was now devastating. Home-cooked red. The small German town had been flung apart one more time. Snowflakes of ash fell so levelly you were tempted to stretch your tongue out and catch them, taste them. Only they would have scorched your lips. They would have cooked your mouth. Clearly I see it. I was just about to leave when I found her kneeling there. A mountain range of rubble was written, designed, erected around her. She was clutching a book. Apart from everything else, the book thief wanted desperately to go back to the basement to write or to read her story one last time. In hindsight, I see it so obviously on her face. She was dying for it, the safety of it, the home of it. But she could not move. Also, the basement didn't even exist anymore. It was a part of a mangled landscape. Please, again, I ask you to believe me. I wanted to stop, to crouch down. I wanted to say, I'm sorry, child, but this is not allowed. I did not crouch down. I did not even speak. Instead, I watched her a while. When she was able to move, I followed her. She dropped the book. She knelt. The book thief had howled. Her book was stepped on several times as the cleanup began, and although orders were given only to clear the mess of concrete, the girl's most precious item was thrown aboard the garbage truck, at which point I was compelled. I climbed aboard and took it in my hand, not realizing that I would keep it and view it several thousand times over the years. I would watch the places where we intersect and marvel at what the girl saw and how she survived. That is the best I can do. Watch it fall into line with everything else I spectated during that time. When I recollect her, I see a long list of colors, but it's three in which I saw in her flesh that resonate the most. Sometimes I manage to float far above those three moments. I hang suspended until a specific truth bleeds towards clarity. That's when I saw them formulate. The colors red, white, and black. They fall on top of each other, the scribbled signature black and the blinding global white onto the thick soupy red. Yes, often I am reminded of her, and in one of my vast array of pockets I have kept her story to retell. It is one of the small legion I carry, each one extraordinary in its own right. Each one is an attempt, an immense leap of an attempt, to prove to me that you, or your human existence, are worth it. Here it is, one of the handful, the book thief. If you feel like it, come with me, and I will tell you a story. I will show you something.